Good morning, everyone. This is Father Don. How's everyone doing? Today is, as you can see, Saturday morning. I have not even showered yet, and as you know, the governor yesterday has announced that we can start to go into a phase one sort of thing as far as having an assembly in the worship space. Um, there's a couple of things that we as a parish have to consider. First of all, before we are up to full swing, which I do not anticipate will be until the end of the month. Now, I do plan to have a mass at 10 o'clock because we are still filming with the old system. We will have a mass at 10 o'clock, and those that wish to attend that. Not this weekend, not this past weekend, Pentecost, and not maybe next weekend. And then the following weekend, we hope to maybe have two masses based on need. The reason I'm being hesitant about this is that I have heard from several people who are compromised, people like the choir, and have underlying conditions due to age or other medical conditions. So I am not anticipating a huge return back to church as it used to be until we know more about a vaccine or something of that sort. And people, regardless of age, are a little leery about attending some kind of a closed event like that. So it's going to take some time, and so I am not going to jump into the pool here and restore four masses when most of them, 3 out of the four, were less than half filled. So we want to look at the times of the masses that are being celebrated, how many we need. Now, the 4 o'clock on Saturday seems to be a staple in every parish. It seems to be very, very popular, however, with the elderly who like to go on Saturday night and then go out and have supper or a movie or whatever and be done for the weekend with God. And just thinking of that, we do get a very elderly group at the four. Now, if they're not coming back, would there be a need for four? That's what I want to try to see and listen to as people try to absorb all of this. The other thing, on Sunday we've had 3 masses, and again, most of them are half filled or less. So again, I really do not anticipate people are going to come back in great numbers either, regardless of age, regardless of their age condition. They've just become conditioned to not going to mass. So we have that kind of dilemma going on that I want to work out with the staff and the pastoral council. And finally, there's a couple of other things. I would normally be going to Steubenville in 2 weeks, and again, I would like to take that week off anyway, so I'm not going to be having daily masses that week. And when I have daily mass, I will just announce it, but I'm looking maybe at 2-3 weeks down the road before we into some kind of routine. So I'm asking everyone to please be patient. If you must have all those things and go to mass and communion and all those things, there are going to be other churches around that are going to be able to take care of your needs. And we hope that they will serve you. And but there are a lot of people who are still very, very concerned. I just got sanitizer last week. That's how far we are behind. We do not have automatic this and automatic that, where people's hands are not going to be touching dispensers and things like that. So again, we have to be cautious with the guidelines that are going to be coming out this week to the priests. And again, what's going to be required, what is not required. Is it still an obligation to attend mass? Is there not? Those kinds of things. Some parishes, because of social distancing, may need to do more masses. I certainly have not seen that desire or certainly a need here, like I say, because all our masses are half filled. and it's kind of discouraging to our community, and certainly in light of everything happening, I just do not think it's going to happen. Have a need for that. So, which mass we eliminate, or if we change the times based on the new faith formation program next year, all these things we have to consider. So, as a staff, we're going to be busy for a few days trying to work that out. We have to mark out places, again, for safe distancing. It's very hard to do that because, let's say, a couple comes in and they sit together, and that's fine, but we have to mark 6 feet from them a spot for the next person. But let's say a family of 5 comes in, and that makes the distancing, we have to adjust for that because there's so many members in the family. So again, where does the next spot, second spot, third spot go based on who's there? So it's going to be very, very difficult. And again, some places and pews will have to be marked off as not being a place where you can sit. And so we're all going to have our patients tested as well. So again, I just want to get this out here right now because I do not have the regulations yet. This Sunday morning of Pentecost, do not have the regulations that the bishop and the governor are demanding. General ideas, yes, I saw the news, and yes, I've had people calling immediately, of course, all those little things, but they've got to give me some time, and the staff some time, and the other people who are involved in making it a safe environment. Now, the one more thing that is really going to be necessary because of why we're delaying full participation to maybe the end of the month. Not only do we want to look at mass times, we want to look at the need, how many people are really going to be attending. And also we have to put in this new camera system, unfortunately, $10,000 it's costing us. So again, we want to continue with the masses being streamed to those that cannot attend mass. So we are putting in a new system at great cost. And again, we have been spending tens of thousands of dollars on stuff based on the world, unfortunately. We had put in cameras when they were shooting up the churches. Now we're going to put up more cameras for streaming. There's all these kinds of things going on. So that is going to take place the week of the 15th, and that's the week I was going to be away anyways. So I do not plan to have daily masses in the church that week. Now, whether I have it the week before, I will see and announce. If we wait until after the camera system's in and I learn how to run it, we will begin and continue streaming, and I won't have to be setting up my computer in front of the altar to make all that possible. It's been very nerve-wracking. It's been more tiring than just the regular schedule. And again, I get to bring my computer over from the rectory to the church and forget this or forget that, and then I got to go back and forth. So again, I'll be glad when there's one system put in place, and the view will not be as good as the altar, but it will span the whole church. And again, I can operate it from the altar with a keypad or iPad or whatever they call them. So again, I have to learn an awful lot to get us up and running. And I want to do the best we can and try to avoid as much conflict, people gabbing, people upset about this, upset about that. We can't get involved in your little concerns right now because we have to think of the larger group. So again, there's just so many variables in this right now that what I will say is that yes, we are planning to have people back at the church. How many masses, I cannot tell you. We know that only 40% of the church could be filled. I'm not making more masses here. There's no need for it. So again, we will see what we can do. And as the summer progresses and It's how do we stop somebody that when we get to 41%, it's how do we stop somebody from Massachusetts or Florida or somebody from coming to church. We don't know their medical condition. So again, there's going to be a lot of variables here where we're going to still see our numbers maybe be a hotspot, as I said, for the summer. So hopefully it'll go smoother. I will have to be very positive about this, but the only thing I know and the only thing I can say with certainty is that things will not go back to the way it was. Okay. So again, the way we approach Mass, the way we approach faith formation, we have to work out all those things. The schools are in an uproar right now, just wondering how is this going to be done. The safe distancing, especially in the school with kids. How are we going to do it in our CCD classes? We'll have to see. Okay, so please be patient. We will open, and I'm sure by July we will really be ready with our times of masses, which might change, may not, but and certainly whether we need four is going to be determined on how many people show up at the few masses that we start out with. So I'm going to probably start out with a mass or two on Sundays, and while we have the old filming system here. And then once the new system goes in, then we will be able to allow more people in and also stream those masses. This new system, even though it's very costly, is going to help us, especially let's say there's a funeral or something and we're still at 40%. It's a large congregation. We can't have everybody. Can we stream the mass elsewhere? Yes. Okay. Funerals, weddings, even maybe. We could probably still have a wedding. And again, not everybody might be able to attend the church, but again, we just hope to get back to some kind of normalcy with this new system. And again, we will see the benefits of those who have appreciated the streaming, the daily messages, those kinds of things can continue now because as Kevin Woods gets busy with the sports, he does a lot of setup for the play-by-plays for the Celtics and Bruins and Red Sox, and he's going to be on the road quite a bit. So we can no longer rely on him in that regard. But and he will not be available every morning if there's a funeral or every afternoon when there's a wedding or something like that. So this new camera system is going to be absolutely necessary, and I know I can rely on your support for that. So again, I want to thank everybody who's got us through this far. I don't have any exact figures on our debt that we have accumulated over the last 9 weeks, but people have been very generous just the same. And again, I am eternally grateful that they're trying to keep the ship sailing. And I know there's millions out there too that still could help out and lift a finger trying to support the church that serves everyone in their time of need. So whether you're a churchgoer or not, you should be supporting the church as a community function here. So speak to your children and grandchildren about that. So this is where I'm at. I have only had one sip of coffee, and I'm surprised that I'm even speaking. So I'm going to go leave you with this message for Sunday morning, which is Pentecost. And it will be on the website today, so people will get an idea of how we're responding. How is this parish responding? How is this state responding to the opening of our churches and worship spaces? So we were hoping to have a little more time, but it's, like I say, only because we're trying to do these other things like camera work and all these other things that are going to be going on in the church. But again, the governor has spoken, and I know the people are going to hear that, and I know they're going to be calling. And but please just take this message and distribute the news. And as we get it, and we'll get it to you. And again, as we see the need, we will apply masses, and the number of masses will depend on how many people return to church. But if anything's less than 50%, we don't have to have mass. So that's always been the norm. Always been the norm. We've been very lucky here that I've continued to do all the masses that seem to be needed. But the days of convenience are over. And again, like I said, a lot of priests are going to start dying off. And again, there's going to be mergers. So we might as well make the changes now, bite the bullet, and see where we might, even if we were merging some 5 years down the road, it would be nice that we just look forward a little bit, 3-year planning maybe. And again, just bite the bullet now and to get people in a mode of coming to whatever the new mass is going to be. All right, so that's the latest. I need some more coffee right now, but please be patient. It's going to take a lot of patience to implement this. Who do we close out? I don't know. How do we stop the 43% of people that might want to get in the doors, whether we lock them or what? I think that's what they're telling us to do, and I cannot imagine shutting out people from mass. So we'll try to keep it as safe as possible. I just don't want it to look like a crime scene inside church with tape everywhere. So we'll try to do it as discreetly as possible. Keep the house of God in a state that is worthy of worship, and again, try to avoid the roping off and taping off and please crime scene type of look. We'll mark off the floor for the safe distancing at communion, those kinds of things we still have to look at. So, and one final note, needless to say, some people have been sick and their health is compromised, so we are not anticipating a lot of help anymore as far as altar servers or lectors, Eucharistic ministers. If you plan to come back and you're going to be available, please let Deacon Terry know. That's the best way we can handle this. But we're expecting a big drop-off, and I'm not going to have the kind of help that I used to have at Mass. We were seeing this at the 6 o'clock as far as trying to get enough ministers to cover all 4 Masses. And so we want to see who's coming back, what Masses we might be able to get them to come to, and then we will have Eucharistic ministers when it's time to do that. But up to now, I think it's only going to be the priest and deacon distributing communion. And then we will get into a more normal schedule later on in the summer. So let's find out who's out there, who's coming back, and then how we're going to respond to that. Until the next time, and boy, I hope the governor just sleeps during the weekends so I don't hear any more news. The bishop will get his facts out to me as far as guidelines next week, early next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. And then the following weekend, we will probably just still have our 10 o'clock Mass that's televised, whether we let people in, that we'll consider. If we can, but because we're changing the Masses and maybe the Mass times, I don't want people to get set on that 10 o'clock. We always had a 10:30, so these are the things I have to work out based on Faith Formation program. So the staff will be meeting, and then we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible with these kinds of guidelines so that we can all be on the same page, coming back to glorify and worship the one true God. So until then, may Almighty God bless you, Father and the Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Please make it a good day, and again, it'll be great to see you again in some form or fashion, but it will be different, and it'll always be different from here on. It's not going to go back to the old normal, unfortunately. And again, whether there's going to be a need for all that, even we want to see. We have to measure week by week to see what the demand for Mass is going to be here in this parish. Okay, until then, have a good day. Thank you for joining me.